see what forced him down here, but it could have been a little bit due to the exchanges that you just saw from Wraith One Tricks. That's right.
Yeah, Wraith One Tricks are looking for snipe down, and Rogue are out of here. Our third team eliminated. Did not see that one coming, and this is good news for teams like NRG as well as MVP, because Rogue, they were the first team to cross 100-point threshold. Now those teams, as well as Wraith One Tricks, which I do want to comment on that interaction as well. Wraith One Tricks taking out Rogue, that is huge, because that is just going to add to their already bountiful total that they have right now of 84 points. With that one, I think that puts them at 85. And they'll simply just continue to add on to that if things keep going the way that I would imagine it could, given that they now have a few more resources to work with, Prof.
Here's Aim Assist, though, trying to get into the party all the way on the other side. If we're taking a look at Hill Valley, looking into Drill, like you said, going to hold this edge as long as they can. It looks like they might have an opportunity to pick up some kills on this team as well. But GB, you painted the picture perfectly. That is good news, not only for the likes of Wraith One Tricks, NRG, MVP. That's good news for the whole lobby, because, you know, everyone in this lobby with this many games to go yet, they do not want anyone to start to pull away like Rogue had done. So for them to exit at third, that's a big deal. Things are going to be kept pretty close here towards the top of the table.
Yeah, you can only expect the Americas to continue this insane trend that GLL has had, and fortune, I think, for all of us as fans of Apex Legends esports here to see some insane matches. Now, though, as I was just talking, you have the EMP that just popped off there. It's going to be TPH. They're going to look to utilize that EMP to force back the Aim Assist crew, but Hollow does go down. Panders is going to be very weak, and Tech needs to pop a few cells here to get back into the fray. Resulta cleans up Hollow, which will come through. Now it will be a 2v3 here, as they'll look to just try and add a few more shots down. These players are going to be dangerously low, and Tech, he does manage to do a decent amount of damage, but it's Resulta again who came up huge for his team. But finally, Panders will end Resulta's reign of terror.
How does Tech stay alive through all of that? At the end of that spray, also manages to land all those wing shots as well, and paves the way for Panders to come in there and finish that wipe. Absolutely huge from these guys, and you got to say, Tech coming around that corner and making sure to get that damage, stayed alive way longer than he had any business doing.
Another loss as well. Aim Assist out 60 points right now. They're in 8th place. So for TPH, that is a confrontation that you're quite happy with, because you're all the way down at 18th place, and that team was 10 places ahead of you. So you just right now managed to benefit from getting some KP. You're also going to get one step closer to placement, and you're denying Aim Assist, who were so consistent yesterday. You're denying them even more points, and thus allowing you to be able to get back into this fight now.
I mean, speaking of getting back into the, I was going to say, speaking of getting back into the fight, you're also going to have them playing, as you can see on the overhead, they're the only ones anywhere near Drill, with the exception of the team that's already crossed into Hill Valley. We'll keep an eye on them just in case this team here, we'll check on board with them maybe next just to see if they try to gatekeep. It's going to be an opportunity, but we'll see if they're going to be able to push out of this. But also taking a look here at Geyser as well. Now it's Wraith One Tricks who's made their way into Geyser. Maybe going to just bounce out. Looks like, yes, indeed, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, they'll have to get inside of the tunnel. And it will be an underpass, I should say. It will be a squeak by. No, actually, the underpass is being held right now by Ziploc bags, so they will go outside.
They're going straight to the.
They're sending it.
Tunnel. Yeah,
they're sending it.
It is a full send. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't blame them. They did get in.
Yeah, it's a great route. It's a great decision to Geyser bounce. Typically when you do see a Geyser bounce, it is not to go deeper into Geyser. It's because teams are trying to go, say, from Lava City, Geyser bouncing through Underpass, like you had mentioned. But instead, they're going to Geyser bounce all the way to Vault. The new Brainers are ready for it. Look at these guys.
Oh, this is a 5-headed play right here. These guys have galaxy brains. They waited. They bided their time, and they're going to run right into the Wraith One Trick. What? Popped out from the ground. From the ground like a bunch of cave trolls. Oh, the new brainers. They're just geniuses. They're the new geniuses. That's what they are. The noob geniuses. That's what they are. That unbelievable. I love it. That's great.
When we talk about efficiency, that is efficiency at its finest. They waste no time. It was actually a 301 opener that we saw and they're going to win that battle. My, oh my, what a win from them. We also saw HRN picking up some kills in the feed. That's going to bring us now to 13 squads left. It was Sentinels and Wraith one tricks that we just saw most recently drop, but here's a quick res here for Hollow.
Yeah, and they're getting chunked a lot. Hollow will have time to pop the med kit. Watch out, though, because HRN, as you mentioned, Bravo, they're waiting. And they're going to gatekeep this. They're already banged up. Hey, go ahead and hold that grenade. Let's see what happens. That'll be nice. And there's just no options for TPH here. So while that interaction with aim assist was great for them, they were able to bring back their teammate. I kind of think they shouldn't have went for the res rather than focus on just trying to get back into the safe zone. Because if they get through here, it'll be big. But truly, how many meds do they have to give them an opportunity to get in here?
That will be the question as NRG just continues to hold that sight line as well. And they're really trying to find an angle in any way that they can get a little bit into this action is what they're trying to do right now, playing on the hard edge and now playing even on the tracks, just trying to make their way. It looks like they're going to opt to take kind of a route that's a little bit closer to that eastern side of the train yard tunnel just to get into the most southern part of Frag West if they can make it there in time. But HRN, of course, still looking for that damage if they can send it.
They are not letting these guys get away from this one easily. They're right there at the rock, and Arcan just drifts out just a little bit just to see if he can get an angle. Rakanishu goes down, courtesy of Fury. And an unfortunate situation there for Rak.
Good looking spot here for Liquid, though, as they're able to do a little bit of scout poke. Not sure if they have multiple scouts, but right now it's good shots from Flanker, which you certainly expect to see, and they're just going to continue to hold. It's only a 301 for Casper and Nocturnal with a scout as well. So 2 scouts here, and they're already sitting looking good in terms of armor, so they're going to be continuing to just apply a little bit of that poke damage into No Name and only move when they have to and hope that the timing works out for them. But 303 here on triple white armor, of course, one of the earliest teams to get into this kind of cover.
Better result for 303 Esports than what they've had previously. It's been really rough for them in these games. We got also teams that are about to interact with one another. Thank you, observers, for calling that one out. 3 teams, as a matter of fact. And I think that's TPH. I think TPH managed to get out of there. Somehow. It could be. I don't know. It might. It's a possibility. But either way, they're going to be calling the Crossfire here. And no, I'm not talking about that great, fun game from the 90s. I'm talking about these 2 teams that are going to be looking right at them.
That's right. Don't get caught up in the crossfire. But here we go. HRN's one of the teams as well. They're pushing in, and it looks like they're going to get into a little bit of a battle. That should be, yes, indeed. That is going to be them. You're going to see Hollow and Tech in the kill feed. Team Liquid, though, looks like they took a more... actually, they took a route. I think they're just above HRN that we just saw, if I'm not mistaken. They're actually going to be aggressing HRN from that northern side. Here they are. They're the ones that actually took a route a little bit behind them. They timed their push slightly different to make sure they didn't run directly into HRN, but instead still have a little bit of height on them.
Yeah, they didn't get the KP for that when TPH was coming out of zone. HRN would benefit there. But Team Liquid, for now, will hold this area. A lot of these teams will have to abandon their positions inside of these buildings eventually. Team Liquid will be on the outside, more toward the edge of that circle. And hey, look at that, a death box, because there was no opportunity for HRN to try and loot anything from Hollow. So they'll get a few resources out of that one.
They will. Teams that are still in No Name, there's a little bit, just a corner of one No Name building in and an entire No Name building still in. But all the teams that are anywhere near those western parts of Frag East are going to have the biggest move. That's going to be the hardest move as well. But you could tell the teams don't even want to get caught in that. There's only 2 interior teams still in Fragment East buildings here, as they're still going to have Team Liquid taking, once again, a little bit of a longer route. Team Liquid still holding this height. I like what they're doing, and we're going to have to see if they're going to be able to continue to rack up KP before they make their push. Here's TSM, though, checking in with them for the first time in a while. They're actually playing on what is typically called Compound. It's just to the west of No Name, southwest, closer to the chokes.
And they were making some tags. Perhaps they're just concerned about any players that could be lurking about. I wonder what happened with the New Brainers. Probably my favorite team right now, because they're just doing things that are working.
So here's where HRN ended up. They're going to be happy with that. But MVP, though, also with some Frag East interior as well. As we said, you know, in a different game, you might see Frag East a little bit more stacked in terms of building interiors. We're not seeing that here. Instead, teams opting to play a little bit outside because they know how difficult those movements will be when you try to rotate out of these Frag East buildings. Not something easily done. So instead, you have a few less teams inside here, and instead a few teams playing the tracks. Like we said, Team Liquid playing a little bit of that northern height, and also NRG playing a little bit of good terrain here. A great option for them is they are going to have their sights set right now actually towards that choke. That's where TSM actually still is. That's the pings that are coming out from them and now switching over to TSM.
Yeah, they were exchanging some shots. MVP will be okay. Well, I'm sure we'll see them in a little bit. They'll have to join the fray eventually. Ziploc bags. Oh, no. Not the area that Stomps wants to be in. Oh, my goodness. Just gets obliterated there by an Arc Star from Cocky Beans. TSM now. High ground. Some shots out. Sent it over there with the flat line. Going to force that player down underneath that bridge. TSM still have this safe area. They'll also be okay because this pylon is going to have their back and stop any kind of attacks from this Gibraltar ultimate that will potentially land in their way.
It's a great rotation from TSM. Absolutely great rotation from TSM to get this spot here. As you saw the pings going down, you can still see actually on the minimap exactly where that port was when they were coming in from compound. Not only does it give them that nice cover, a great spot for that Watson ult, but also they can continue to kind of just peek and engage over this height as well. Plenty of room to heal. This is a great spot for TSM for the moment, but take a look at the pull that they have. It's pulling just west of No Name.
Probably the worst thing that could happen for them is that they're going to have to make some movement in order to get into that safe zone. 53 seconds before that is actually going to end up coming to fruition. Those players are actually opting to go over to the left side. Abrelelli will be waiting for them on the outskirts. Imperial Hal now looking around, and Hal has, I was going to say, he has the angle to throw that thermite, but actually doesn't end up connecting with it. And there's just players surrounding all this area, Bravo, and they're all going to have to move eventually. It's going to be a bloodbath.
It is. NRG is going to hold this low as long as they can. Wouldn't be surprised if they tried to, if they get the right opener, they're going to engage instead of trying to get pushed by the edge. But right now, they're just going to be holding low. And TSM is certainly a team that also wants to be the aggressor here if they can pick up these points.
Yeah, and you called it, Bravo. You said TSM needs to be the aggressor. They know that they have no choice at this point but to turn up the heat and try and get some KP. Abrelelli goes down. Not what you want to see if you're a TSM fan. Not what you want to see if you're reps in Imperial Hal. Hal, though, does go in for the fight. Does manage to get one kill there. Nathan is down, and NRG, they're going to lose two players, and I think the only one, yes, it's going to be Frexus, the last player left alive. We didn't see him in the feed, so we had to assume that he'd be the last man standing. The new brainers, the guys who had just that galaxy brain play inside of the tunnel, they're going to be okay for right now. But just as I say that, though, all the bombs just flying right on top of them. MVP, they'll take ownership of the low ground, some lower bridge trolls here, if you say. And Vaxilon also surviving this long, Bravo, with the caustic is wonderful for MVP.
Abrelelli, you're going to see there, will get thirsted, so it's just going to be Reps and Imperial Hal for the TSM side. 7 squads to left, and really only because we have all this elevation difference. Now, here is the TP out for Hal. He will go in right away. He's not going to wait. Charges the Gibby. First shot's not going to hit. Going to look for that next one. Next one does hit against the Gibby. He's going to win that right away, but needs to be careful here as he only has a limited amount of time on that bubble.
Oh, the new brainers. They were caught between a rock and a hard place, and it seems like the hard place has indeed won. Team Superior, Fuzby and Prodigy Aces, they are operating with a man down. The only team that have a full force currently is going to be MVP, and that is the team that is hanging out on top. They've managed to get over here, and they're just setting up these barrels. They're ready for the push, and if anyone tries to get in their way, the gas is going to impede their vision.
Is Liquid, I think Liquid maybe still on that northern height right now, maybe closer to that building. Maybe they moved just a tiny bit to the south. We'll have to see exactly where they are, because in 32 seconds, everyone's going to have to get even closer. And actually, they lost Casper. So actually, instead, that's exactly where they are in the westernmost part of No Name, going to be holding this and with not much space to do so.
MVP are going to be the only team that have that advantage, and a drop coming in here. Everyone's going to be looking at this guy. Oh, Joey Blackout.
Poor guy.
Oh, poor Joey. Poor Joey. You don't do that to Joey. Okay, well now,
you hate to see it.
Shifting focus once again here to Team Liquid. They've come out of the area where they were going to be hiding, sending some thermite nades up to the top. It might actually roast a few, but it doesn't land only because that pylon was going to be out there. Those players have no choice but to actually back out. And Joey, poor guy, he just ends up dying to the ring there. Vaxlon gets the kill onto O Senpai. Nocturnal's going to be from behind here with this fully automatic Prowler. Does deal a sizable amount of damage on the high ground as well. And it is actually going to be Madness. He gets a kill as well. 2 kills. Reps goes down 2. Nocturnal and Flanker playing up top over here. MVP are going to be down low. Shots coming over to the side. Vaxlon's going to be going in for it. The massive is true. The cracks are real. The connections. And it's MVP. They will get the game 11 win.
And as another one for them, they rack it up. If you remember just how well they were playing yesterday, coming into this game in 3rd place, and they lived to tell the tale through that with 3 players still up. Played it perfectly in the end. You saw them kind of costing up below the tracks, and in the end, they're able to fly up and time the push perfectly. And I tell you what, they waited for Liquid to make their push do quite a bit of damage, and their third party timed it perfectly.